And we are back for week 13 and for another episode of Grade A Fantasy, Grade A Picks on Prize Picks for week 13 in football. A few hit and misses here and there. Last week was a eventful one, but let's get right back on it so we go for this nice 3 for 3 or 4 for 4. As usual, we'll keep with the pattern. I will suggest my 3 grade A, what I rate as A plus picks for the week. And then also I will also add other picks that you might want to tinker around with if you want to switch picks in and out of your card, or maybe have them separate for your own card yourself. And let's get right into it. So, starting with my first grade A pick, we're going to go to Antonio Gibson. We're going through this strictly on game script. Antonio Gibson is strictly the third down and 2-minute offense running back. And most importantly, if the Washington Redskins are down, which most of us think they will, there will be plenty of opportunity for Sam Howell to check down to Antonio Gibson. Even if we have the situation where, let's say it's just one of those games where Washington plays hard and they do their best to even keep the game remotely close, like a 27-15 game in the third quarter. 27-15 is still a 2-possession ball game, and even in that sense, and Washington is trying to make a game of it, or at least being competitive, they're still going to want to try and catch up. So there is plenty of time for Antonio Gibson to get 19 and a half receiving yards. I definitely see him getting that. Even though, yes, they do use Brian Robinson as a receiving back and a running back, Antonio Gibson's role on the team with this potential game script definitely suits favor, where a 19 and a half, I mean, his actual number, he could get to like in the high 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s if he gets a long run after the catch. So with that, my first pick for grade A plus is Antonio Gibson to go over 19 and a half. This hasn't moved since it dropped on either Monday night or Tuesday. My next pick, it probably is my favorite pick. I probably should have started with this, but of course we have to look out for injury news. But he did play with this injury last week, and Marquise Brown against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers, the defense isn't really that sturdy. This is not the Steelers of the past or even a few years ago. I think this is way too low for Marquise Brown. Michael Wilson is one wide receiver that's out. Even the tight end is dealing with a little hamstring issue. But nevertheless, Marquise Brown is still the number one target for Kyler Murray. He was hurt last week with this injury and didn't practice all week while he monitored his injury. And against the Rams, ended up with 88 yards. So he pretty much doubled up and then some this prop last week. To keep him at 40 and a half is kind of crazy to me. Plus, when we look at it, the Steelers' defense isn't, once again, it isn't that sturdy. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick is also dealing with a hamstring injury. He has stated that he will play with the hamstring injury that he has missed for the past 4 games. So we do have, a couple of dinged up guys. But once again, it's harder for the defensive player to anticipate where the offensive player is going, because the offensive player already knows where he wants to go. So on that tight hamstring, I'm pretty sure there will be a couple of matchups between Brown and Minkah. But regardless, if there's a setback for Minkah, I think Marquise Brown is trending to play like last week. It's just pretty much maintenance. So I really do like the ability of Marquise Brown to get this over the course of time with his target share. Once again, with Minkah Fitzpatrick, it's been literally a carousel of defensive backs. And once again, other people as well. The safeties are banged up. I think they signed somebody. I think they just recently signed somebody, Trenton Thompson, from their practice squad at safety. So if Marquise Brown is able to beat anybody deep, there could be a possibility that some of these young practice squad players could blow coverage or miss an assignment. So I think it's looking really good to Marquise Brown to blow this prop out of the wall. I really think this is just way too low for him, especially against a Steelers defense that, once again, isn't that sturdy. And then for our third pick, and let me just make sure I take this out. Let me get back to where I was before. Once again, we got him on that. Like I said, these are my grade A picks right here. And then once again, we shall now go to my third grade A pick. And we are sticking with a trend here. Today is a trend of low props. But they're low props that I could definitely help you make sense. And there we go. Yes, we are going to go for this. Now, 9.5 is pretty low. And like I said, because of the makeup of the team, CJ Stroud, they literally are trusting this guy to go down the field whenever he wants to, slants, deep slants, whatever the case is, or hit his tight end. Now, I think this also helps that Justin Schultz is out. That hamstring injury, I had a feeling he wasn't going to play. When I did the research and everything, when somebody plays 19 out of 60 plays, Schultz is a tight end that should be in the game at damn near all times, 45 to 50 out of 60 plays. So that hamstring definitely wasn't going to get better by the end of the week. Even if he did try to gut it out, I mean, the man still has to put pressure when he comes in to help block and plant foot and everything like that. So he's out. Oh man, I said Dalton Schultz, I'm sorry. So with Dalton out, I think that helps Singletary be kind of like the next check down, even though, yes, Brevin Jordan is looking to step in for Dalton Schultz. But I think that gives Devin Singletary also more opportunity. Now, if anybody remembers when I started Grade A Fantasy last year, I had a nice preseason detail on Dameon Pierce. You know, I'm a big Florida Gator fan, so I follow these guys. But the one thing that y'all have to realize is Dameon Pierce is mainly a runner. So what I mean by that is he's not really used in the passing game. Now, yes, last year he had a productive year. Last year, I think he finished. Yeah. Not that I think he finished. He did finish with 938, so a bit shy of 1,000 yards. But he had a productive season last year. Wasn't a good team, but he was definitely one of those bright spots where you could see it and look like, okay, this guy could definitely be part of the future next year. I mean, for the next years to come. But when I looked at the game logs from last year, I mean, it was pretty limited. Like, he was literally the workhorse back. Like, there were games he was getting at minimum 10 to 11 carries and at most 27, 25, and 22 carries. And at the same time, he had a few games of 6, 5, 4, and 5 targets. Everything else was 3 and less. But once again, you know, not a big pass target in the passing game, but now that's gotten way less because now with Stroud, they trust Stroud to extend the play. The offensive line does a good job protecting him, so he gets to look downfield without having to check it down to Dameon Pierce. Because this year, even before Devin Singletary was even in the picture, and he was fully healthy before he got hurt in October, Dameon Pierce has literally looked at only the most he's had receptions is 3. He had 3 receptions. I think that was week 3. So that means pretty much from week 4, including the injury, from week 4, October 1st, Devin Singletary has literally, and we're in December now, Devin Singletary has 3 receptions. Ever since then, even before he got hurt, we'll go to October 1st. And what I see here for Devin Singletary is he wasn't getting on the field much at all. And then ever since October 1st, it's been a bunch of 2s with a 1, and then he just boosted up to 6. I think Singletary now has established himself as at least a third down back. Dameon Pierce is not the pass reception guy. He literally is used for first, second, and maybe even third down. But even to get a breather, or they might like to switch things up because of the offensive package that they have, Devin Singletary has earned the playing time to at least see a few targets. He may not see 7 targets like he did last week for 6 receptions and 54 yards. But all he needs is 3 or 4, and he could easily get 9.9.5 receiving yards. So that's the reason why I'm going with that. Game script, the way they're running the offense with CJ Stroud, and like I said, through last year, 30 receptions all through last year. Dameon Pierce is not the receiving guy. It's literally going to be Singletary now that he's shown that he can produce out the backfield running and catching out the backfield, what he's shown the past 3 weeks. Obviously, the last couple of weeks were definitely good matchups with Cincinnati and Arizona, which is why he went for 150, 30 carries, 22 carries. He still had 3 receptions in the last couple of weeks for 17 yards, but Dameon Pierce is not there. Now, actually, Dameon Pierce being there kind of gives him that role of being the receiver, and once again, we're just going to take advantage of this low prop. All he needs is 10 yards to get this, and I definitely see him getting this in the Denver matchup. Of course, Denver is weak and susceptible to the run, but like I said, one nice little screen pass, 2-minute offense, he can easily get this, and definitely CJ Stroud is comfortable chucking it down the field. But Dalton Schultz also being injured, I think, is the icing on the cake with all the info I've given here for why this 9.5 prop is definitely, without a doubt, a smash. So, for the grade A picks for week 13, we will go over 40.5 for Marquise Brown. We will go over 19.5 Antonio Gibson. Like I said, nobody really expects Washington to be competitive. And like I said, with that bad defense, even if they do their best to not be blown out by 4 or 5 touchdowns, which will make it even easier for Antonio Gibson because he'll definitely be in the game way more than Brian Robinson. Even if they keep it at 27-13, 24-13, if that, even if they keep it in a game script like that, towards the end of the game, late third, you're going to see Antonio Gibson in there more, and he's going to have to get a couple of dump offs. So with a few receptions, Antonio Gibson could easily get the 19.5 to pass his prop. So we need 20 yards for him. And once again, Devin Singletary, we literally need a first down catch, literally. So those are the props for this week. We'll flex play these, and we'll put a nice, little 25 on that. Just keep it simple. So once again, my favorite props this week are grade A props, A pluses. Marquise Brown over on receiving yards, Antonio Gibson over on receiving yards, and Devin Singletary over on receiving yards. Now, for the other picks that I do like, and I think that you guys can use, that I graded. Now, we do know we like the Tyreek Hill. The Tyreek Hill prop started at 97, is now at 103.5. Maybe you're scared of that. Okay, there could be those days where, even the worst offense could try and key in on Tyreek Hill. And we've seen teams try to do that, and we've seen teams fail. But just in case you don't want to do that, 69.5 for Jalen Waddle seems pretty decent. It opened at, I think, 65.5. So this went up 4 yards or whatever. So Jalen Waddle to get this prop is a 70. Once again, like I said, Washington just can't guard the deep ball, and that's mainly Tyreek Hill's position. That's mainly what Tyreek Hill is about. But Waddle can definitely have the open opportunity to get deep, or he could just kill him underneath and get the volume and get a nice bunch of runs after the catch. We're going to stick with a hot hand here. I also like Pittman. This prop didn't move at all. So, once again, Pittman at 72.5 yards. He has another nice matchup pass funnel with Tennessee. Once again, he's the main target guy. Him and Josh Downs both looking good this week. But once again, I will still take Pittman over with the volume that he gets from Minshew. I think he's literally Minshew's first and second. Well, can't say first and second rate. He'll look at Pittman. He'll get the downs. And then after that, it's pretty much if he could scramble, extend the play, can Pittman make it back to him? And he'll chuck it downfield. You saw the volume last week against pass funnel type defense in Tampa Bay, where we're doing the same thing here with Tennessee. So I definitely like this prop here. Now, the other A plus that I have is an interesting one, and I think it definitely has a strong will to hit. And I like the prop. Now, Ramondre Stevenson, I really feel you can go three ways, literally. This is like that week that I was talking about Rashad White when he hit, I think a few weeks ago. I think it was like a 25 and a half yard or whatever. I think it eventually reached up to like 29, but I think he smashed it out the water for like 46. Ramondre Stevenson. So, I'm forgetting the quarterback's name. I remember the last name is Zaps. So, New England started a new quarterback. Obviously, Mac Jones is benched, so Bailey Zapp will be starting this Sunday. But guess what? He'll be starting against the not the Los Angeles Rams. This is not the 90s, sir. The Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Chargers defense, they've shown up a couple times, but they're still pretty susceptible, and they're pretty weak to big plays on the ground and in the air, especially on the ground. Bill Belichick is this guy's coach. So with Zapp starting, he's going to be game managing. He'll probably get a couple of chances, and I think even saying five is a little too much for him to take shots down the field. So literally, what do you do with a new quarterback like this, and you have a coach like Bill Belichick, and you have a team that's susceptible to the run? I think you can literally go for Ramondre Stevenson. Even though I said you could pick any of these three, and they goes 14 and a half rushing attempts. That's even a nice juicy prop there. That also looks like an over. Ramondre, literally all these props. But if you made me pick one, I'm sorry, I can't. It will be two. Because literally, Ramondre could get the 60 and a half against the Chargers with that bad run defense. Or you can go 68, or you can go 89 and a half rush receiving, because the safest thing for Belichick to do, if he's not going to chuck it down or check it down to the tight end, he's going to check it down to Ramondre and set up for a few screens. Ramondre Stevenson pretty much will be his safety blanket. And as you can see here, he has blew this prop out the water significantly the last 3 weeks. And once again, yes, now if you see the trend there, not the best defenses, but that's the same thing we're going against here with the Chargers. So if you ask me, you can go for 89 and a half or the 60 and a half. I think it's a coin toss. If you made me pick, I'll literally have to sit here and literally just do research on that prop. But Ramondre is definitely a strong play. I think he might even go unknown and nobody's really talking about him in fantasy. Ramondre is going against a bottom 6, bottom 5 rush defense. He's going to get at least 16, 17, 18 carries. The last 3 weeks, he's literally just been the only bright spot on the offense. Literally, and then the reason why I say you could also take the 89 and a half, I can literally go through what his targets are. We all know what he can do on the ground, but this is what he's done on targets. And like I said, I'm gonna list you the team that he went against and what the production was. Philly, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 64 yards. Against Miami, 3 for 10. Against the Jets, they got rocked, so that didn't really matter. 4 targets, only 1 reception. At Dallas, got rocked. 3 for 2 and 10. New Orleans, they couldn't really do nothing. But once again, here we go from October 15th. 6 targets, 5 receptions for 24 yards. 6 targets, 6 receptions, 51 yards against Buffalo. 4 targets, 2 receptions, 11 against Miami. 6 targets, 4 receptions, 42 against Washington. And then has 5 for 3 with 14 and has 5 for 5 with 9. But along with these games, he's getting rushes into the high 30s, low 40s. But in the last 3 weeks, once again, against a bad rush defense, just like I did it again. Just like Los Angeles, Washington, 87 yards rushing. By itself, he's 2 under the prop. Against Indianapolis, 88 yards rushing. 1 under the prop. By the way, like I said, in those 2 games, 87 and 88, he also added 42 yards receiving and 14 yards receiving. And then last week, he just demolished the prop with rushing alone, 98, receiving yards, 9. So literally, you can coin flip what you want here. But I really love Ramondre Stevenson this week. I definitely think you could definitely go for the 89.5. You can definitely go for the 89.5 because he's going to get all the checkdowns. He's literally going to get all the checkdowns. But if you want to keep it simple, you can go for the rush yards. Against the Los Angeles Chargers, it's going to be highly valuable that he protects Zap and he becomes his safety blanket and protects him. If he's in danger, catches it in the flat, sneaks out the backfield, maybe catches it in front of the linebackers trying to cheat up or play back. We'll see. But not only is it the game script, it's the game strategy or the team strategy that it benefits Ramondre Stevenson to protect Zap and be his safety blanket. So, if you ask me, on top of those grade A picks, these are picks that I also added as this I had as an A, and I think the Waddle I had at A minus, and there was another pick I think I saw. The Pittman. The Pittman's a straight A. Definitely like that. So if I wanted to go 5 pick, all these props look real juicy, but I wonder. Now that I see it here, I think I could take the rushing attempts, really. I literally think I could take the rushing attempts. I really do. I really do see him smashing 14.5 and getting like 19 or something like that. Really. I really do. Because like I said, the New England defense is still decent enough to slow down or make this game pretty competitive. So you know what? Because literally my favorite prop was his rushing prop to go over 60.5. You know what? I think I'll go. Yeah, definitely will. I'll definitely go with the rushing attempts. 14.5 rushing attempts. And if I wanted to do that, is there a 6 one that I like? Is there a 6? I wonder. Well, I did say the Jalen Waddle. Like I said, I went through the Singletary. Now, here's the props that I have ranked A minus and B. And to me, the strongest one has to be, it's going to be 2 running backs. It's going to be 2 running backs. I think this is too low for this guy, but I totally understand why it's that low, because you're not going to expect him to get that high with Devon A-Chain back. So it is a dicey prop, but I think Raheem Mostert could definitely get that against Washington once again. That's game script right there, because there have been games where Tyreek Hill gets a deep bomb or does a couple of things here and there, and then also both running backs can go off. But what I really like is because of what I saw last week. Like I said, I'm rooting for this kid. I hope this starts his journey as one of the top running backs. This prop actually here went up 4 yards. When I saw this Tuesday, 52.5 was this prop. This definitely seems feasible. I'll be scared to take this one because, like I said, we got lucky. If you took a Najee prop last week, you definitely got lucky because it definitely seemed like Jalen Warren was in the doghouse. A lot of people forget that he had that fumble, which gave, I think, Najee an extra 5 to 7 touches. Jalen Warren wasn't totally benched, but he didn't see the field last week as much as he did in the previous 4 to 5 weeks. So if there's a 6 pick I would probably take, I think, because literally both running backs are in the same situation. They literally got a talented backup behind them that can literally not script them out, but, well, in a way it is scripting out, because even if they miss their prop, they're taking away opportunities. Carries going to them, supposed to be going to the other running back. So right now, I don't know what I will do as a 6 pick, but right now this looks like a pretty damn good 5 pick card for me. This really does. I really do like this prop right here. I really do. We're going to stick with the hot hand Pittman. Those are my 3 grade A picks. I'm not going to force a 6 pick. If I see one, I see one. But right now, I gave you all the options of what I like. If you want to add the Waddle for over 69.5, you can. Najee over 52.5. Originally is now 56.5. Raheem Mostert 48.5 over. Like I said, as usual, it's normally overs, but I totally forgot about the rush attempts. I was really focusing on Ramondre Stevenson rushing yards, but yeah, the attempts makes total sense, especially with Zap. Like I said, I see Ramondre getting 18 to 20, maybe even 21, 22 carries next week against the Chargers. Belichick knows that run weakness, and also don't forget. I think last week, Bosa got hurt last year. I think isn't Bosa out for the season, even though that's more of a pass protection thing, but still to still lose Bosa makes that defense even weaker. So we'll stick with the 14.5. So we'll let this rock out at a 30, and then we'll flex it. Well, it automatically goes to flex when you put it to 5 and 6. So 30 for 300. And there you go. So those are my 2 cards, ladies and gentlemen. With the grade A plus picks of Marquise, Antonio, and Devin Singletary over. Added to that, we'll stick with the hot hand of Michael Pittman against, once again, another pass funnel. Back 4, back 5, whether they play nickel, back 6, they play dime, whatever they do. Not a lot of people play dime anymore unless they guard the Hail Mary, to be pretty honest. And Ramondre Stevenson pretty much controlling the game with his legs against a great run opportunity. Like I said, Ramondre literally has one of the rare times. The last time I gussed about a running back on Prize Picks was Rashad White when he literally had 3 props to pick. Well, Ramondre this week, because of the situation, and now with the new backup, he literally has 4 props to pick. You can pick any one of those props. Rushing, the receiving. If you made me pick, though, and you made me rank, I think his receiving yards would be probably at the bottom. I think the rushing would be the number 1, then his run attempts, and then it will be the rush and receiving yards combined. But like I said, I went with the 14.5 rush attempts. I see Ramondre getting close. To beating this prop by halftime. He's definitely going to have somewhere in the range of 8 to 11 carries by halftime. I'm pretty sure of that. So that is the week 13 picks for prop picks for Prize Picks on Grade A Fantasy. And we shall conclude this episode with a good luck. Like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite picks are on Prize Picks for week 13. This is Grade A Fantasy, signing off.